Alrighty, it is a Thursday morning, just about 10 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Joining us this morning from the Titusville Community Development Agencies, it's Deb Eckelberger and special guest, which we're going to get to in just a moment. Good morning, Deb. How are you?
I'm good, Luke. How are you today?
Very good. Hey, listen, this is very exciting. A lot of times in the news you hear stories of that aren't so positive, but there's really a lot of great things happening in our region, and you guys are always working on great things. And I kind of brought up the opportunity to do a segment to take a few moments to talk about some of those great things.
People always ask me what goes on in Titusville, and they don't know what's in our industrial park or what a business does. I'm fortunate to have the greatest job in the world. I get to see how stuff works every day.
Despite having to work with Jim Becker.
Despite, yes. But I'm the TV show. You know, I get to go in and see how equipment is made, or boards are made, or cottage cheese is made, and it's a wonderful thing to do. So why not share that with the world and let them know about the great things happening here in Titusville? So
that's right, and a lot of good opportunities right here.
Yeah, we had that little conversation a little bit ago, how people think they have to move away to have a good job or to find some positive future, and you really don't have to. It's really good right here.
And it's funny you mentioned that. I was just reading a post on Facebook last night that there was a family that moved away from this area not too long ago, I think back in the spring, and the post last night was, guess what, Pennsylvania, we're coming back.
Good.
So, but sometimes you do need to venture out to
you have to know.
Appreciate what you have, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this is a chance for us every other week on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, with your help, to offer information out to the world about the great businesses that we have here, and if their business has anything that they'd like to talk about specifically about their products or services, it gives them that forum as well. So we're happy to do it.
Yeah, taking care of business.
Cool.
Right here, and that brings in Chad. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Well, how are you this morning?
Not too bad, thank you. Well, let's set this up. Chad, who are you with, and what do you do there?
I work for RTI right here in Titusville, and we refurbish continuous caster components. Slab caster steel mills, they make the slab steel, and their equipment gets worn out, and we refurbish it, take it back to like new specifications.
Wow. So talk about where you would find these things, who are your clients, and what kind of work you do day to day.
Well, prior to the 1950s, all the steel in America was made in like a stationary mold, in ingots, where they would pour the steel into a mold, then remove it, and then repeat the process over and over again, and that's where all the steel came for all the automobile industry and around the world. In the 1950s, they started the continuous casting process, and that's really the main source of steel right now. AK steels, US steels, the Allegheny Ludlam steels, these are our major customers. The main difference is now the steel is cast in a continuous strand. So as it's being poured, it's being taken off the line and sent to a rolling mill. And as it's poured, all that equipment is undergoing incredible amounts of wear and heat. And there's lubrication systems and cooling systems and hydraulic systems that we've got to take them out whenever they're worn out, and we refurbish them.
Wow. So by the time you get to them, then, I mean, are these things pretty well?
Oh, yes, very, very, very beat up.
And we're not talking about little components necessarily, are we? We're talking about some big pieces.
Yeah, these are very large pieces. Some as much as 50 tons. We've had equipment, single pieces of equipment. The machine itself that all these components go into can be 5 or 6 stories tall. With a mold on top to begin the casting process, and then groups of rollers as the slab's coming down and it's becoming solid and no longer a liquid. The groups of rollers come out in what's called a segment, and that's your strand.
So some of these restoration shows you see on TV where they're doing a car or something, that's pretty minor compared to what you guys are doing, isn't it?
Yeah. Although cosmetically, they're we're not going to body shops, but yeah, that is pretty minor. That's really big equipment.
So when a semi rolls in with your next project, I mean, I'm sure there's various degrees of how bad it is. What does it look like when it comes to you?
That you're absolutely right. There's various degrees. Most of the equipment has a tonnage goal where they're looking to pour steel for a certain amount of tonnage, depending on the position in the strand, depending on the customer. Could be 1 million tons of steel that they're shooting for, and if they get their million, it's coming in really bad shape, and it's going to be a full rebuild, and it's going to get all new components, all new wear components, all new grease systems and hydraulic systems. Sometimes events happen in the steel mills, problems happen, breakouts and overfills. Equipment can come in as a partial rebuild, where it's not quite so bad and you're just fixing the single component because they want to get it back at a reasonable cost and try to get the remaining tonnage out of the product.
So how did RTI get started then? I mean, this is something that I assume you just don't roll out of bed one day and say, you know, I think I'd like to work on these. I mean, you have to know what you're doing.
Well, when the continuous casting industry first started, most of the repair work was done in-house by the mills. And mills have started to, over the last 20 or 30 years, started to wise up and realize that they should be focusing on making steel, and let companies like RTI refurbish their products for them. So Dan Roser, Jack Roser are their founders and the owners of RTI. And Dan has been in the steel industry for, 40 years, and he really brings the technical aspect to the job. He's well recognized in the industry. He knows everything about the steel industry. He knows everything about the product. Jack came in with a profound understanding of finance and business. It really was a perfect pairing when the two of them came together and started the business, because you had the technical knowledge, you had the business knowledge, and it's really been a great place to work. It's been a very successful business. We grow all the time in a shrinking market.
I was going to say, I think some people might be listening to that going, steel in America today?
Or here,
Or here? Yeah.
Right. And that is absolutely the reaction is warranted, because it is a shrinking market in the United States. The world steel production, the world steel demand keeps increasing. Mostly China is meeting that demand, and the United States is barely holding steady, if not declining a little bit. But here in Titusville at RTI, we keep expanding. We keep taking a bigger slice of the pie as the pie gets a little smaller.
Deb, I have to ask you, because for those who grew up in Titusville, there's obviously the stories of Cytemp and Cyclops and the steel mills in this area, and of course Pittsburgh. It's amazing that you have a company kind of going back to those roots right here.
Tucked in the back of our industrial park is where they're located at, and as you drive out 27, when you look to the right, if you're headed east and see those big tall buildings, 64-foot ceiling heights in a building, you couldn't make that building today. It's amazing what we have here, and they've repurposed it. It used to be the former melt shop, and they repurposed it for their business and tonnage capacity and large cranes and huge pieces of equipment. It is amazing that it goes on here, and as you drive past, you have no idea. So tucked back in there is businesses that are affecting the world.
So you talked about the growth. Did it start out down there?
Yeah, it actually started in Building 73, which is where our administration is, where our main offices are. Building was refurbished by the Titusville Redevelopment Authority with the help of RTI, Dan and Jack. And from about 2001 till 2013, we filled it up. We actually, in late 2013, we realized, and in 2014 we implemented, again working with Titusville Redevelopment, Building 32. They refurbished that. We currently lease that building. We've moved our operation down there, and I guess it's a good thing, but that building is now full.
Wow.
So yeah, we keep running out of space.
So this isn't one of those things where, there's a couple of these shops, around the States, and you're getting some work from time to time, or it's part-time work. You're saying that you guys are packed, and there's a project every second you guys are working on.
That is absolutely the case. We're very busy. We're busy all the time. We're one of really only 3 places in the country that are a full-service refurbishment shop. We started out, like I said, as a small company, and I think the main reason for our growth is that we've kind of kept that small company attitude as we became big. We do a lot of on-site service. We're available at the drop of a call. If I get a call from a customer right now, I'm going to walk off your show and take it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
And thank you for that. That's how everybody treats this program. They just walk off.
Yeah.
Or done. No, so you do a lot of traveling then?
Me personally, no, but
Okay.
A lot of people within the organization do. We some mills, we actually install their equipment for them. In that 5-story machine, we'll actually go on site. We'll troubleshoot the problems they're having making steel. As the steel industry grows, a lot of that knowledge base is leaving. A lot of people are retiring. It's being brought up by some, intelligent, great engineers, but a lot of our knowledge is becoming more and more valuable to some of these people. A lot of customers really lean on us, and we love the relationship. We're up to the challenge, so it's great.
It's 20 minutes past the hour. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television and the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Deb, this is such a great story, not just for you guys, but for the community in the region. What's next, Chad? What do you guys do next? Is there talk about more growth, or do you kind of wait to see what the economy does?
We're always looking to grow, and that's a function of Dan and Jack. That's just, they're very driven people. They're not willing to sit and be stagnant and be satisfied with where they're at. I think the next stage would be, as we continue to get more and more work, would be to try to bring in some of the facets of our job that are outsourced, try to expand our capabilities, control more of our business. That's where we've headed over the last several years, and there's still room to do more for that.
Do you see different avenues you think the business could go? Or is it waiting to see what the upper management says first? Are you able? Let me rephrase that. Are you able to go to them and say, hey, I think I see an avenue here for?
Yes, it's absolutely great. We've all in the organization, we know the owners, we know the bosses. There is no corporate red tape. There's nothing stopping you from presenting an idea, from offering your input. Obviously we have a very defined process. We have procedures in place, but at the end of the day, when you want to do something, you can approach the owner and you can present it and either go that direction or be convinced that it's not the right direction.
So the door is always open.
It is, yes.
And I'm sure your customers must like that, because they don't have to wait weeks or months for an answer. If they have a unique situation, they can call you, and I'm sure you guys get back to them relatively quickly.
Yes, absolutely. We put skilled technicians in a pickup at the drop of a hat. They'll drive to the customers, which are typically pretty far away. Obviously there's the steel producers in out Chicago area and Butler area and Cincinnati area. So yeah, we're available at any moment.
Do you find that those businesses are thriving, or is it getting tougher for them?
I think a lot of them are getting tougher, are finding it tougher. I think some of the steel mills, I think AK Steel in particular, is doing very well, which is a very large customer of ours.
Now, when you guys get again, when that truck rolls in and they unload the equipment and you're looking at it, what's the length of time it takes on average to refurbish the equipment and get it back to them?
On a full rebuild, something that reached its service life, a relatively complicated mold with electronics on it is going to be about a 4 to 5 week lead time. Partial rebuilds we've turned around in hours. Fix a component, get it back on a truck. That's another relatively recent attribute we've just added, is we handle our own transportation now. Mm-hmm. We've got 5 tractors right now that can haul all over the country, and it really makes us, we're not relying on some other transportation outfit. Whenever a customer has a problem and they need something turned around, we're available. We pick up the piece, we bring it back, we fix it, we deliver it.
So you're more self-reliant.
Yes, we're becoming ever more self-reliant. The thing with the continuous casters is that machine has to make steel. When that's not making steel, then they're not making money. So the equipment that we work on is typically spares. These are pieces that will get refurbished and get installed after the piece in front of it gets used up. There are instances...
Which you'll get that piece, right?
Exactly, exactly. There are instances where there is no spare and they are not producing steel because of some operator error at the caster, and the clock starts ticking, and we're always ready to rise to that occasion.
So I want to go back to what you just said. You said 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, on some of the larger equipment, yeah.
Really? Now, because I've taken a tour of that facility, and it's been a couple years, and I've seen the pieces you've worked on, and I'm like staring up at the size of these things. 4 to 5. I guess I wouldn't have been surprised if you would have said 4 to 6 months.
Oh no, there's some much larger equipment. Some of the processes take a little longer than others, but on a relatively complicated piece that we've had before, that we're familiar with, we have our procedures in place, we have our bills of materials in place. 4 to 5 weeks is pretty reasonable.
You must work with some pretty talented people.
We do. It's really, I mean, that's the main key to the success. We've got some really good people in some really key positions, from the top to the bottom. I don't want to start naming names and embarrass people.
They're all good.
Yeah.
I mean,
But what sort of departments are you looking at in a company like this?
We have a strong engineering department, which is important. We're often offering suggestions to the casters. Hey, this might run a little better if you did this. We have a machining department that always looking for skilled CNC machinists. We have an electronics department. Most of the molds have some pretty complicated electronics on it, level detection systems, motors for width adjustment, things like that. So we've got some great electricians. We've got an electroplating department, which is really one of the things that separates us from a lot of the competition, is that the molds themselves, as they get used up and that wear surface is eroded and gone, we actually have to machine off the old coating and we electroplate the new coating on. So we do have some, we have chemists, we have engineers, we have electronics engineers, and in general we have a really skilled, mechanically inclined
So
workforce.
this is pretty wide spectrum.
Yes, it is.
How do you
And
find those people?
well, we do a lot of looking. It's not always easy to find the people.
Do you guys do all of it internally, or do you ask for outside help?
We do it all internally. We, the normal avenues. We advertise in papers. We advertise on websites. It's produced some really great people for us. It's interesting. Myself, when I graduated college, I thought that I'd have to move away to have a job in chemistry. It was my degree. And I think a lot of young people believe that. But there's actually a lot of technical, skilled positions at RTI and other local businesses.
Wow. I'm sure people listening or watching are thinking, wow, this sounds great. How can I work at a company like that?
Well, we have our website. There's an application process on the website. We are constantly looking to expand our workforce. As we grow, we need more people.
You pretty much doubled your workforce in the last year.
It's been pretty rapid growth, and I don't want to discourage anybody sitting at home who doesn't have a degree in engineering or degree in chemistry. We're looking for people with just mechanically inclined, intelligent people, which they're all over the place. That type of person who may be discouraged by a company like ours and think that it might be too technical for them, but no, mechanically inclined people always fit into RTI.
I had a difficult time sharpening the pencil I have on this desk, so I'm going to hold off on something like that, but I appreciate the advice there. No, what are the biggest challenges, though, when you are interviewing somebody? Is it lack of skill? Is it I don't know. Do you have any issues, or are you getting some pretty qualified people applying?
We mostly get qualified people. The thing about our industry is there is nobody to hire that has experience doing exactly what we do. We can't go out and say we need a mold technician because, like I said, there's only 3 of us in the country that really do exactly what we do. So we have to lower the bar on the knowledge of our process and raise the bar a little bit on just positive attitude, strong work ethic, again, mechanical inclination, and it produces some really good people.
When you hear
to train.
Oh, absolutely.
They
Yes.
train. Yeah, they will in-house train.
So when you hear somebody say, "Oh, there's nothing going on in this area, or there's no jobs here,"
I think that's incorrect. I mean, there's well, I'm sure next week you'll have another company on that's going to be just as exciting, and yeah, this RTI Checkers down the street. And,
Yeah. great things happen.
So really, I mean, it comes down to that word opportunity. That there's opportunity here to create a business, to grow a business, and to be successful, to raise a family, and as you said, stay here.
Yeah, yeah. And it really is, when you think about Temp and the closing down, what a devastating thing that is to a community, and then what Titusville redevelopment has done to fill those buildings with businesses. And I mean, I don't believe the employee count is anywhere near what it was when it was Temp, but we're pecking away at it slowly and gaining on it.
And it's not just us, but it's the great businesses that we have here that are willing to commit and pour that giant cement slab that needs to hold that huge piece of equipment, or buy that 50-ton crane and make that commitment. So we just funnel and give them assistance however they need it, but they're the most important thing in our park, or in our town.
Chad, thank you so much for sharing what you do down there, and thanks for taking care of business around here.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. RTI, great company. And again, go to the website and download the application and see what happens. Chad, please come back sometime and update us on what's going on.
Sure.
It really is a great company. Deb, thank you so much.
Thanks.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
All righty, final look at news coming up next.
Thanks.